Hello everyone and welcome back to another Montreal Expos highlight video in Backyard Baseball 2001. In this highlight video, we will be breaking down our game against the Milwaukee Brewers, which was an interesting contest to say the least, and we will jump right into the bottom of the first after we did pretty much nothing in the top of the first, and Mariano Ralph gets the 2-6 Milwaukee Brewers off to the perfect start with a leadoff home run off of Luan Louis. This was a telling sign, as we would soon find out, that the Brewers had come to play today, as just a couple batters later, Rachel LaBuena, get used to that name, she also pulls it to left field, and this goes up on the logs and is ruled a ground rule double, although it did seem like Ernie Steele might have a play on the ball. But nevertheless, second and third, nobody out for Jeremy Burnitz, and he is also going to hit it to left just over Ernie Steele's head, and it bounces into the little pool there for a 2-run RBI ground rule double that puts the Brewers up 3-0 in the first inning. Luan finally getting out of it with a ground ball to herself. So we are on the comeback trail in the top of the second. Keisha Phillips leading off, hits a line drive to center field, and it gets past the center fielder, and Keisha Phillips is going to use her speed to get an easy inside the park home run. Not a lot of speed on the Brewers team, but as we found out, plenty of power, including in the bottom of the second. Mariano Ralph, second at bat, same result as she launches this one to left, splashes it, gets the home run, and restores the Brewers' 3-run advantage. And one of the early indicators that we were in for a long day was great hits on 0-2 counts by the Brewers, including that home run by Ralph. But a pleasant surprise for us, as evidenced in the top of the third, was Dante Robinson. He hits this one high in the air and gets it past Jeremy Burnitz, and he is off to the races. Weighted it perfectly so that it wouldn't be a ground rule double. Gets the inside the park home run, and it's once again a 2-run game, which we continue to threaten in as Annie Frazier is up with Luan Louis on second. She hits a solid-looking, hopeful single to right field, except she gets thrown out. And then Luan, seeing the air at third, tries to go home, but the guy has a cannon, and she is thrown out, and it is a double play. And that leads to the bottom of the third, where with a runner on second, Ricky Johnson hits an undergrounder, which turns into a ground rule double, and this is going to put the Brewers back up by 3, 5-2. And a few batters later, Ezra Travolta is also going to hit the undergrounder with Ricky Johnson still on second base. This one is going to go past Keisha Phillips in center field, and Ricky Johnson scores easily to make it 6-2 Brewers in the third inning, but some overly aggressive base running allows us to get out of it, and so we go to the top of the fourth, runner on first for Keisha Phillips, and she doesn't quite get all of this one, and it's a pop out to third, except Mikey Thomas ends up tumbling, and it turns into a very unfortunate double play. We finally get a scoreless inning in the bottom of the fourth, and then Dante Robinson continues his amazing game, this time splashing a home run of his own. No need to hustle around the bases for this one, as it is his second home run of the season and the game. And this pulls us to 6-3 as we continue to try and come back. But in the bottom of the fifth, Rachel LaBuena gets a hold of the zigzag pitch and once again hooks it over this incredibly inconvenient log in left field, but they had to set the dimensions somehow. And she restores the 4-run advantage. Another theme of the early part of this game is every time we would score, the Brewers would come right back and keep the advantage at 3 or 4 runs. We try to make some more inroads in the top of the sixth. Pablo Sanchez scurrying home, and he is just barely tagged out and another run is lost at home plate. And then top of the 7th, Dante Robinson trying to make it happen, but gets called out on a controversial strike call. But nothing we could do. Bottom of the 7th, Mariano Ralph once again, and this play was incredibly bizarre. It lands in the pool, which by our understanding should be a ground rule double. It is not ruled that, and the ball turns invisible. Luan picks it out of the water, but no one can see it. It is an invisible ball. I was absolutely fuming with the umpires. As you can see, everyone is confused. Mariana Ralph she's confused, but then she starts running to the next base because what else are you supposed to do? No one is calling the play dead, even though the ball is clearly not there. But eventually, all credit to our players here. They figure out where it is and start throwing it around, managing to hold Ralph to a triple and get it back to Ernie Steele. Impressive stuff, but a very intense play there. And then, of course, 2 batters later, Rachel LaBuena unleashes a screaming line drive for a 2-run home run that puts the Brewers up 9-3. And at this point, as a manager, I was just telling the kids, let's just get through this, because they were steaming after the Invisible Ball Fiasco. We go to the top of the 9th. At this point, we haven't really threatened to make a big comeback. We do get a run here as Jocinda Smith beats out the infield single to first, making it 9-4. And Dante Robinson, once again, tries to be the hero, doesn't get all of this one, to say the least. Pops out to the catcher, and we lose 9-4. So, a very interesting game. The Brewers brought the power, got a lead, and were very impressive in maintaining it. We did what we could, but it just was not our day, and needless to say, I had a talk with the league about the Invisible Ball Fiasco. I don't think that, made the difference with whether or not we won or lost, but just one of those frustrating things that tells you that it's not happening for you today. So we're 6-3 and looking for a better performance next time.